We're in.
Terry Pierce is starting recording.
Hey. Yeah, we might need to just address that quickly. I'm not Terry Pierce. It's my brother-in-law's Zoom account. So Simon Hills.
Okay.
Simon Hills.
You had a twin.
Yeah. I look nothing like him, to be fair. But to be fair, we've also got Alistair Harper on the call. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I just got a video call from Alistair Harper. I was like, "You're right, mate."
I would try a Scottish accent, but I can't. So.
Yeah, I'll try it, but mine will come out Irish.
So I guess
how long's the hair, bro?
How long's the hair,
mate? It's not even so much the hair. It's just so, mate. Honestly, Nah, it's not happening.
Oh my days!
It's just not happening. It's just so rough. I just feel so rough.
So I guess we got to just address the fact that we're not doing a podcast this week, right? It's just a webcam instead, for
way forward,
obvious reasons. Actually, saying that.
Wait. So I hit record or what?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, please record permission from the meeting host.
It's a biased lag, isn't it?
Lag?
Lag.
Oh,
you know
sorry. No, it says. Oh, hold on. It says record permission from the host.
Well, look, I'm recording it, so I'm just going to make sure that I don't delete the recording.
To be honest with you, if I was recording it, it would actually capture exactly the same stuff. It's not like a angle or anything.
It's just a back. Yeah, you got a better angle than I have. That's what it is. What's going on with the podcast one? Do we know? Session one.
It's on podcast platforms. I don't know how to do Spotify or iTunes. They said they were reviewing it, but I haven't heard from them since.
Fair enough.
I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to contact them, or I don't know. I'm a bit stuck.
Yeah, I suppose it's going to be on a back burner in the current climate, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. God knows what happens to that. But there you go. It's the open house webcam / podcast session 2. That's it. No one's heard number 1 yet, but number 2's ready to go. Be out before number 1.
Bigger and better.
They can download it all.
The first one looked like.
They can download it all at one time from Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Give them something to do in isolation.
That's right. Binge. They can binge.
It's out there somewhere. Whoever finds it gets a prize.
Isn't it?
We need some tech savvy guys, don't we?
Yeah, it's a good thing that's not our business model, right? Like, we're not creating much interest if we're going to be doing IT stuff. So
we're giving the tech.
Keep it property. Should we talk about this week? Corona isolation. Huh? How's it been?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Different. All right, but different. It's for me, for all of you, like, we all work from home anyway. So working from home hasn't been the struggle. The only struggle or difference for me is just having the baby running around and the missus at home on the computer as well.
Mate, there's 4 of us in a 2-bed right now. Like, this is stressful times.
How are you finding it? Tell us about it. Tell us about your week.
Oh, well, I've decided to come home and be with the fam and that, but there's 4 of us in a 2-bed, and I'm sofa surfing, which is great.
Getting much done?
Yeah.
Getting much done?
Hard time.
Can you not escape to your own flat when you need to?
So my flat's under Airbnb right now, so that's all. Yeah. So for the time being, this is the only place I could be. I'd much rather be at mine, but it's see how I tried to big myself up and make me sound like I came here by choice, but
you were trying to make money, so you came here. That's it, yeah.
Just expose me, man. Cheers, mate. But yeah, that's what it is anyway. Yes, it's been tricky. My week it's just been hard, like in terms of like meeting with people and things like that. Obviously we can't, so it's all digital now. But saying that, the day before the lockdown, I remember speaking with you guys about it. I chanced it, and I left my flat to go and take photos of a property. I'm just waiting for terms of business to be signed and that, but I've got photos and videos. So it is something that, not all is lost at this point in time, but it's going to be tricky, like having to say this is all I've got. The video is all I've got in terms of like viewing capabilities, but it's a studio property, so
we're well set up for it. I think we're well set up for this moment in time. I think if anyone's gonna do everything they can and survive at this time, it's us lot at part of Keller Williams being able to work from home like we usually do, communicate with the local community like we usually do. Just it's going to be harder, but we're set up to do it. What about you, Chuck?
Similar. I mean, I came over to my mum's as well, so that she wasn't on her own. So Tobias, you're more than happy to come over. There's space, brother.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
All right, cool.
Four bed house. But
he'll charge you rent. He'll charge. Yeah.
Nah, I'm not. I'm not like that. But it is interesting though, like you say, because obviously it doesn't really change much for us, from a Keller Williams perspective, because that's what we're used to doing. We're used to being independent, and what is interesting is that how many people kind of didn't really know enough about what I did. This has really given me an opportunity to sort of like speak to my mates, and friends that I haven't spoken to for a little while properly. Some of these WhatsApp groups now, I mean, they're like 40 odd people strong. So in itself, that's a community in itself. So really, the communication that you've been able to have with people within my world, this has really kind of changed things from that perspective. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? Actually, we didn't touch upon that in the first session, like Keller Williams, what it is, like what we actually do. Do you want to like just give a rundown, like exactly what it is that we do, and why we're well placed at it, right?
Well, I suppose, I mean, the biggest difference for us, being a Keller Williams agent or partner with Keller Williams, it's about getting in touch with your sphere, your people in your world, and being able to help them. I suppose that's the biggest difference between that and a high street agent. That's what I've actually sort of like really realised, over this last few months. It's about helping people and being able to rely on people in your sphere and help them out. And if you think about the high street agent, you're waiting for people to come to you, but being able to reach out to your friends, to your family, and asking them, do they know someone? That really, if you get that nailed on as a Keller Williams agent, everything else takes care of itself. And actually, so we talked about door knocking and canvassing, and that's great. Those are the quick wins. But actually, if you get sort of like the sphere right, then everything else, it will actually make sort of like door knocking and that quite redundant, won't it? If you think about it, you'll only do door knocking to supplement, but the main part of your work and your referrals will be coming from your sphere, and that's what I've realised certainly a lot more over these last few days, because there's so many, and equally I didn't know what people were doing within my WhatsApp groups, my friends. I didn't know what they were doing for work, and so we found a lot of bouncing back off each other. Oh, really? I didn't know you did that. Oh, wow. So that's definitely been a big eye-opener, a huge eye-opener. I don't know if you guys have had that, but for me, it's been a huge eye-opener.
What sort of chats are you saying? What's coming up in the conversation? How you put?
Well, one of the big things is about, I didn't realise how many people are self-employed. That's one of the big things. So actually, I'm talking about, referrals, but equally there's people, you got people who do tanning in my group, sort of like do, work, massage, self-employed masseur, tanning, and all of these people, for example, they're struggling. They can't get out as well. So, they're worried. So, in one of the groups is about people are posting in the groups what they do, and then so everyone has to post what they do and then find out ways that they can help each other. So all of a sudden, straight away, you've already got people saying, as soon as it's lifted, we're all going to go and meet up in this bar and let's have a chat. So that would never have come without this lockdown.
Crisis comes opportunity.
Yeah. So, you know what? I'm not saying I'm grateful for this, because you know what? This scenario is a scenario that you wouldn't have wanted. But I've heard a lot of people saying that how you come out of this actually will be quite different in a positive way. But yeah, I
agree with that. Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of what me and Josh were talking about this yesterday. But it was, what you do now is going to impact you when you do come out of this. So, don't let it defeat you now. Don't give up now. Don't wait for it to be over. Do everything you can for yourself now to help your community, and be top of mind when this all finishes, because people still need help, and as long as you're there, you're going to be there. You're going to be there every day, every night for anyone that needs it, right? So continue to do that, and when this turns, you're going to be the go-to man for your area, right?
Yeah. So what's going to be interesting is how we're going to come out of it in terms of community. Everyone seems to be getting together a lot more. We did the clap last night. Everyone was out cheering. people
Yeah.
on the phone that I'm with
That was wicked.
existed, right? It's normally really quiet. Everyone's at work. Everyone comes back. You don't see each other, so that's quite nice. But pollution levels in the city have dropped by like half or something.
I saw that.
Yeah.
No smog or anything like that. So will that change people's attitude to work? Can you work from home more? Is that going to help like relieve stress to people? Bits and pieces like that is going to change quite a lot of attitudes, I suppose. And then with us, it's given us an opportunity to speak to people within the community, not about selling the house, but about helping everyone.
Yeah. That's one of the elements of this thing, is just connecting with people and speaking with them and finding out, like you said earlier on, Chuck, like what they do. Do you know what I mean? I got a call from an auntie I haven't spoken to for ages because my mum mentioned it to her and she reached out to me and told me about a property that she's got on for sale. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy. Like there's opportunities everywhere. Like just touching base, you know, not on your everyday list. It's good. And I got a phone call from a friend of mine last week, and he said, you know what? Since this has kind of kicked in, this lockdown, every day I try and call one person at least. Yeah. And today you are my phone call, and it proper touched me. Do you know? Like I
had one yesterday. Was it?
It was really nice. It was really nice.
I've got an auntie who lives in Cornwall who is, I think it's 80 odd. Lives by herself, doesn't really have friends and family. So I called her, had a little chat, etc. Didn't think of anything of it, but then she spoke to my nan the day after and said, yeah, she was in floods of tears. The fact that we called her, it was cute. It's like, wow, didn't expect it to have such an effect, right? But she's stuck at home doing the gardening. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Now is the time.
I think that's quite important, actually, when you're having sometimes they don't even actually start off as property conversations, and they shouldn't in this time. Do you know what I mean? That's why I talk about the sort of like the family and friends. And then obviously the community comes off the back of that. But, if you talk about, Keller Williams always talk about the family. And I suppose that is important. Sometimes you lose sight of that. And I think it's, this virus, this situation has pushed people together in terms of family and friends. And
brings the good out. Brings the good out in people, right?
I haven't spoken to my family and friends so much.
Yeah. Absolutely. My sister, I speak to her 3 times a day. Sometimes I'll go to once in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you got to look closer to home. Forget about the work things that come up. Just reminds you of what's really important.
Yeah. Well, you went out. You did some shopping for your neighbour, right? You did all of that.
Mate, I've done shopping for about 4 or 5 people on the road now, and. The thing is, I mean, at first, I'll be honest with you, when I first did it, I was thinking, what can I get off the back of it? I'll be honest with you. But seriously, it is, you just see that I walk down the road now and people are saying hi, and there's a sense of camaraderie now that, didn't happen, wasn't evident before. And you just see kind of people pulling together. You'll go around, you'll go down the road and you'll help someone. As I'm walking down the road, someone says, "Are you going down to the Tesco? There's a Tesco Express at the bottom of the road. Could you bring this back up for me as well?" Whilst you're going, no problem. Do you know what I mean? What do you want? Some bread? You're seeing that, and I suppose these people, they talk about this is what it was like, sort of like wartime, sort of like that camaraderie in the community, and we've never had that, have we? For generations, we've not seen that. But we're seeing it now.
No, it's brand new territory for all of us, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like the digital kind of pulled a lot of people apart, but in times like this, it also helps. It also works bringing people together.
What about if we make it a little bit more micro? So obviously, with regards to the property side of things, how have you found it this week with people asking you questions about the market, or have you been able to help anyone? Is it business stops, or is it business not as usual, but business carries on?
I wouldn't say it's business carries on in terms from that perspective, but I've certainly had, I remember, working in the sort of like 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009, and obviously it wasn't a pandemic there, but it was certainly a scenario when the property market was seriously affected. So, you've got people who are thinking what's going to happen. They've just bought, someone just bought in January and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to go into negative equity. What's going to happen? And so, the one thing first and foremost I always say to people is about, you're buying a home. If you're buying a property as a home, you're in it for the long run. No one knows what's going to happen when we come out of it. But if you look back at sort of like 2007, 2008, you know, the market